The Boston Celtics defeat the Nets 116 to 112 in Game 4. They did complete the sweep. The Nets are not going to be fighting for the championship. A lot of hype. Kevin Durant, Harden, Kyrie at the beginning of the season. Who's going to stop him? Well, the vaccine kind of, put a dent on that. The mandates and all that stuff in New York just couldn't allow Kyrie to play with them at all. Then he was able to, be a part-time player. Then obviously Harden was not really feeling that, was not really liking the setup. He wanted to get out of there. He kind of gave up on the team. Whole drama, one of the storylines of the season was Harden getting traded out of the Nets. And then they get Simmons, who, is coming back from an injury. He's dealing with this mental stuff. And a lot of people thought, okay, the Nets actually got a pretty good haul for Harden, who just wanted to leave already, who kind of gave up on the team. Nets won that trade. Once Simmons gets back from his injury, gets his mentals right, they're going to be a scary team. They still, barely managed to get into the playoffs. They were the 7th seed, so a lot of people are like, nah, their record doesn't reflect who they really are. Well, they're the only team that didn't win a game in the playoffs from all the teams that have made it. They're the only team that got swept. And KD and Kyrie had a really good game 1, and they both kind of struggled game 2 and 3. KD did pretty good today, 39 points, not the best shooting splits. Kyrie Irving, 20 points, struggled again. Seth Curry did his thing with 23 points. And it did look like the refs, I'm not trying to say that they got bought out or there's some other stuff going on over there, but it did definitely felt like the whistle was in the Nets' favor. They were playing at home and it was an elimination game, so I could see why they might feel the pressure to give the Nets the cause, but there was a lot of, ticky-tacky fouls that were called against the Celtics. Jayson Tatum got ejected from the game or picked up his 6th foul with 2 minutes left in the game, and that foul was bro, there's no way you call that in this stage of the game. That didn't even look like it was a foul on Jayson Tatum. It honestly looked like Dragic took out his legs and then Tatum fell backwards because Dragic took his legs from under him. I don't know. It was just, there was a lot of calls. There was some offensive over the back called on Horford on another possession where it's okay, are we really just trying to give the Nets possessions and we're trying to foul out the Celtics' best player? It just looks sus. Watching it real time, it looked very sus. It's all right, are these refs really trying to extend this series? They're trying to make it go back to Boston. And the Celtics, who did have a 15-point lead towards the end of the third quarter, held on strong. There was moments in that fourth quarter where the Nets would go on a 7-0 run, 8-0 run, cut it to 5, they cut it to 4, they even cut it to 3. They might have even tied it at one point, but the Celtics always had an answer. The Nets never took the lead, and my memory is a little foggy. I don't know if they actually tied the game or if they just got it one or 2 points, but every time it just got super close. I know they never took the lead, but every time they got close to tying it or to cutting the lead to 1 or 2, 3 points, the Celtics would always find a way. If they'll find a 3, push it to 2-possession game. They would find a little 2-pointer, 3-pointer to steal the ball, tighten on defense, and they would push the lead back to back to double digits. It felt like for the most part of the fourth quarter, it was the Nets going on a run and the Celtics responding to pushing the lead back to 9 or 10 points. And then there was a moment in the fourth quarter where they were just trading threes back to back. I think Tatum was on the bench at that point, just getting his rest. And I think Curry was getting some threes. Patty Mills was getting some threes. I think Horford got a 3. Marcus Smart got a 3 during that run. And that was really entertaining basketball, just letting it fly. Nets trying to hold on at home, trying to extend the series. It wasn't KD and Kyrie at that point of the game. It was the other players keeping them in it, and Tatum was in the bench at that point. So it was just people were contributing. It was a good game. It was a good moment in the game. But like I said, the Celtics always looked like they had an answer, and in the end, they're the deeper team. They're obviously the better roster. And KD and Kyrie left a lot to be desired in this series, and even in this game, especially Kyrie. He could have been more aggressive. I don't know if he's tired. When he was a part-time player, he was amazing. He was always the freshest player on the court. Once he became a full-time player, he still had amazing games, but he wasn't able to stack them together. He wasn't able to put 2, 3, 4, 5 games together, and it kind of showed in the playoffs. He had that great game one where the Nets really had a chance to steal home court. He flipped off the fans. He had his whole moment at the Garden, and then after that, his game kind of teetered. It looked like they were able to just throw bodies. Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year, definitely was very physical with him. Was able to slow him down, but overall, disappointing season by the Nets. With all the speculation, disappointing season for KD, for Kyrie, but especially for KD. He's a person that people consider the best player in the world. He surpassed LeBron. I don't think he ever did. If we're keeping it 100, I think LeBron was always better. And even to this day, I think LeBron could still impact the game in more ways than Kevin Durant. Might be a little prisoner of the moment. This is probably one of the worst series Kevin Durant has ever had. I think he shot under 40% for the whole series, and he just looked like he got shut down. But these are the standards that you got to be held to if you want to be the best player in the world, if you want to be considered the best player in the world. And I think we've all seen that LeBron gets held to a way different standard than just about any other player. And Kevin Durant does not get held to that standard. And I think that's evident because he's not the best player in the world. And I don't think maybe he had like a short glimpse. But even with the Warriors, like there were so many stars, there's so many mouths to feed, there were so many things you got to consider that, yeah, he was shining the brightest, probably even brighter than Curry at that time. But Curry's gravity was so impactful to leaving Kevin Durant do his thing that you had to take everything that Kevin Durant did with a grain of salt. Like, what would LeBron be doing if he was Kevin Durant in the Warriors? Like, it would look probably insane, even more insane than KD being there. Regardless, he still hasn't been able to lead a team to a championship, and it's not going to be this year. The Celtics sweep them. Super excited to see how the Celtics play against the Bucks. Don't want to count out the Bulls out yet, but I think we could all assume that the champions are going to take care of business. They are up 3-1 right now against the Bulls. They should take care of business, and we should see Celtics versus Bucks in the second round. That's going to be electric. I'm gonna hold off on the prediction. I know I haven't really been doing episodes, but I'm going to get back to it, and I'll give you guys a prediction once it's confirmed that it is the Celtics versus Bucks, because I don't want to, count out the Bulls. We'll see if they're able to go on a run or do something. But overall for KD, just another year that he, like Chuck has said, it's easy to be a passenger in the bus. It's easy to be, sitting in the back. It's a whole different story when you're the driver, when you're the one leading the bus, when things go bad, you're the one that has to correct it. You're the captain of the ship. It's way different being the captain of the ship than being, in the back of the bus, sitting down, just chilling. And Kevin Durant, as the captain of the ship, has not been able to do it. It's not going to be this year. I don't know. I don't know how their chances will improve next year. Like, is it going to improve? Are they going to be able to improve the roster that much better? You got to think that the Warriors next year, they're going to be another year back together. They should be one of the favorites. Hopefully, my Lakers are able to fix whatever mess they have in that roster. Maybe trade Westbrook. They should be better. Maybe AD could stay healthy. LeBron's still, top 5 player. The Bucks are still going to be there. The Celtics, you would imagine that Tatum and Brown are just going to keep getting better and better. So it is. Luka is going to be there. There's a lot of factors to consider. Like, is KD ever going to get that chip as the captain of the ship? We're starting to get to those latter years of KD's career, and it might never happen. And that's crazy because when the Nets got built, when KD and Kyrie both signed with the Nets, I felt like it was inevitable that they would get a championship. But nothing's guaranteed, and now it's looking more bleak than ever.